Charlie Kirk was an American conservative political activist. He was an author and just general media personality, and you'd see him on YouTube, on all social media quite frequently, but also he was on American TV news channels quite a bit because of his conservative and religious beliefs. Now, a while ago, he co-founded a company called Turning Point USA, and more recently, that's morphed into Turning Point Action, of which he was the CEO of that company. And the goals of that company were to bring conservative values to colleges and campuses around America. And, of course, this was how he was killed. This was why he was killed, particularly for this, because the colleges and campuses and universities in America are filled with left-wing dogma, and he used to get quite a lot of anger when he used to go and do these things. But of course, this was what he believed in. And when a person believes in something and they get out there and they do something about it, they always get maximum respect from me, because they're not just talking about doing something, they really do get out there and do it. And for me, I'm going to remember Charlie Kirk not for a lot of his Bible stuff, which is fine if that's what makes you a better person, not for the rest of the American political stuff, but I remember Charlie Kirk primarily as doing this type of thing.
My wish for the left is that you will become liberal again and no longer leftist. Free speech is a liberal value. It is not a left-wing value. It is wrong, and I'm sure we'll talk about this in the Q&A, but as of today, Lucy Connolly is going to jail for 2.5 years in this country for a social media post that she apologized and deleted about a migrant hotel. That is not a free speech value at all. You should be allowed to say outrageous things. You should be allowed to say contrarian things. Free speech is a birthright that you gave us, and you guys decided not to codify it, and now it's poof, it's basically gone. And I think there's something really troubling about that, because I want you to imagine one day that reform might take over this government. You guys can laugh, but they're winning elections in downtown London. Farage is ascendant. There is a silent majority in this country. I see this. Oh, I'm going to really scare you. I see the same themes that led to Trump's rise in this country. I see it with the working class in the streets of London. I see the muscular class. I see people coming up to me. It's the same vibe. You guys are about to see a political revolution, if the stars align, that could mirror what happened in America. So when that happens, do you want Nigel Farage, Prime Minister, to be able to lock you up if you criticize his government? If your answer is no, then you have a moral obligation to make sure that your Prime Minister and the MPs advocate for a value-neutral free speech policy, so regardless of who is in power in this country, you guys can challenge and you guys can speak openly. That is the bedrock of a liberal democracy.
Question.
Sure. What was your name again? I'm sorry.
I don't think I told you. My name's Mercury.
Nice to meet you.
Why are you here?
Okay, I've been asked that question a lot. First of all, that question should not even have to be asked, but when people stop talking, really bad stuff starts. When marriages stop talking, divorce happens. When civilizations stop talking, civil war ensues. When you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to want to commit violence against that group. What we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have reasonable disagreement where violence is not an option.
You think that's not emotional violence?
How is this? What is emotional violence, by the way? I don't know what that is.
It is harm intentionally perpetrated on another another human being that is intentionally targeted at their emotional well-being.
Okay, so feelings mean nothing to me. Isn't why we had the First Amendment to try to push our boundaries and to hear things that might make you mildly uncomfortable?
This doesn't make me mildly uncomfortable.
Does it make you very uncomfortable?
It makes me angry.
And in that last clip, I think we witnessed the seeds of Charlie Kirk's demise. He attempted to go into universities and talk to people about conservative values and his belief in God, and he was murdered for it. And that's the only straight way to put it. They couldn't stand his voice. And in that, I think that is just another pointer. It's just another analogy for what's going on at the moment in our political debates right the way across the Western world. They've become so acidic, so nasty, so polarised that even when somebody dies, somebody like Charlie Kirk, who was obviously a decent chap, just a God-fearing man who went about his business and preached what he believed to be his truth, he was murdered for it. Because that's the society that we live in. That's the type of polarisation that we're witnessing all across the Western world. And rather than this being a turning point of this whole debate, rather than everyone looking at Charlie Kirk's death and thinking, hang on, this might have gone a little bit far, perhaps we should start reining in the rhetoric, this is just another touch point along the way. Things are going to get a lot worse, I believe, unfortunately, for us. We've lost the ability to debate, we've lost the ability to speak truth to each other, and sadly, this killing here of this man is just an indictment of the society that we live in. We abandon free speech at our peril. And this is what happens when indoctrination takes place at universities, where conservative voices are drowned out, where all voices are drowned out, and certain political agendas are espoused. This is the type of hate that comes out of it. This is where we're going. We're just going towards more violence, and people are, in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they're not even going to remember this. That's how quick our news cycle works. And we're going to move on. And at some point in the United Kingdom, we've already had it happen a couple of times with a couple of MPs, but we are going to see at some point something happen in the United Kingdom that's going to shock everybody if we don't turn it back. And, unfortunately, I don't think we have the ability to do that. Very sad situation, but this is going to play out as it always does, and people die and things happen like this, and this is the society with which we live. But what a sad indictment of our society this is. Thanks very much for your time.